Welcome, Scorpio, Sagittarius, to your June love reading. Hope your friends are doing great out there. Welcome back, all subscribers. Anyone new, welcome, welcome. Okay, guys, if you really like this video, please hit that big old thumbs button. Get those analytics out there. Keep this channel going strong. Okay, let's see what's going on with you in love. Best messages coming out in love. Let's look at your partner. Person they are dealing with in love, please. And the darkest fear is coming out. I can bet that they are worried about the situation. Why are they worried about the situation? Giving and receiving, thinking that they want to solve the problem. So they're definitely worried that they're not going to be able to solve this problem with you. They're afraid that this is going on too long. They may even be trying to look inside, trying to figure out how they're going to fix the situation. But it looks like they're not really looking at the bigger picture over here when it comes to the knowing. So they're not really sure where this relationship is really going. They're not sure if, you're going to get back to where you were when it came to this situation. It's almost like they're trying to affirm that their dreams coming true, are going to kind of reassemble themselves. Kind of like they're planning and building to get back to this, right? Wanting to feel like, this relationship and where it's going is rewarding with you. So there is definitely something that's going on here that feels like you're both very detached from each other at this time. So let's see why they think this way. So they definitely don't feel like this is going anywhere right now. And they're really in a lot of worry. Yeah. They dream a lot about you. They want you to understand, that there's this symbol of love that they have within themselves, right? But they can't seem to push that out to you. It does almost feel like that they're at the halt right now, severing ties. Yeah, they don't see this coming back together at this time, so they're kind of protecting themselves. I do feel like they are in like a surrender mode, halted, like I said, hangman mode for sure. Feeling like they have kind of even maybe hermit mode. We'll have to see what the other cards say, but I do feel like they've pulled away. And that's because they feel like they're kind of protecting their energy from this situation until they can figure out how they can come to you and make this relationship work with you. This could be the father of your children, but there is this kind of controlling energy. I think they know that they want to control this situation. And look, if it's the other way around, then they feel like you're controlling the situation. But whatever is going on here, there's like one's in control and one's not. So there's a very big pull and it's a tug of war. Let's just put it that way. It's definitely a tug of war over here. But they really want to feel like they can get back to what you guys had once before. But they just don't see it happening. These cards are never in reverse. It's too weird. So they do see you as the idealistic lover. They do have a lot of passion, but there's just this like changing moods. And it just feels like you guys are just kind of changing moods. The feelings are off. Everything's imbalanced. And there seems to be a little bit of rash behavior when it comes to when the two of you are together. It's definitely like hitting a brick wall. I see this wall and it's just like we cannot come together on this situation. Everything is definitely, it's almost like two bulls going at it, you know what I mean? There's a lot of, could even be a lot of bullheaded behavior, but they do feel like every time you're together, there's kind of this rash, quick, kind of mood changing. Or we can't seem to be on the same page. Let's see why. Temperance, balance. Yes, wanting to balance the situation. They feel like they see you as a very patient person when you need to be, and they do see you as a very sensible person, but there's like finding meaning within moderation where you guys cannot meet in the middle. Okay, so there could be too many secrets, too many hidden agendas, but there's that withdrawn. So they have withdrawn from you, or getting ready to withdraw, or maybe they see you as withdrawn. Take it how it resonates. But there's definitely this feeling of withdrawn, having misunderstandings. It's like we never can be on the same page. Everything becomes a misunderstanding very fast when we're communicating. King of Wands or King of Swords, excuse me. There's definitely, I feel like both of you might want to stand your ground to be be the leader. And so you can't have two leaders and, like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't have two leaders together. One needs to, in a relationship, it's the give and take. One has to play leader and the other one has to follow suit. If you get together on a situation, you still are going to be on the same page to follow suit. But if you have too much of authority and control, somebody who definitely wants to play Capulet over here, whether it's them or you, however this is, it's almost like that we can't come up with great ideas if it's always your idea, or if you know what I'm saying, because there's that no follow the leader type of situation, because there has to be that give and receive, right? And that's where they're feeling like they're missing this situation. They Yeah, so there's no Knight of Cups. They can't give their heart to you right now because they just don't feel reliable enough at this time. There's too much moodiness again. That changing quick moods has now come up twice. So they may feel like you're, at your end of the straw over here, and a little moody. I think they overreact when this situation happens. Um, so they're saying this is just so unpredictable, right? That they're just in worry that this is just not going to work. No, there's a dark cloud over this relationship that becomes very negative very fast. Um, it's kind of like the situation where it takes two to tango in the situation, and the tango is a mess. There's people stepping on each other's feet. There's, I might even fallen. I don't know, right? But it does say that there is the Wheel of Fortune, because the Wheel of Fortune is talking about those ups and downs in the relationship where the unpredictability comes out. The action will need to be taken, but somebody has to not be so conservative. They need to open up some, it's either you or them is too grounded, too grounded enough, too bullheaded enough. You could be dealing with a Taurus, bullheaded enough to want to stand back and allow someone else to have the reins, right? So it's almost like I kind of think that they're kind of seeing that they need self-improvement. This whole relationship needs self-improvement. There has to be more interaction when it comes to the situation. It definitely needs some kind of healing and recovery, because there's definitely a resistance of learning the lesson. So I think they know that, though. I think they do feel like they don't really want to learn the lesson, but they want the relationship to go back together. Okay. And for cross watchers, it can definitely, be the other way around. But healing has to do with speaking, getting on the right page if you're going to make something work, right? Knowing that it does take two to tango, that we can't both be leaders together, or one can't have all the control, when it comes to the situation. But there could be an inevitable ending over here if the lesson isn't learned. And that's why this person is so worried about the situation. They want to keep it healed, but they don't know how. So it's almost like they're just going to stand back and take the emotional loss at this time, because they're very blocked from understanding, and they're repressing all of your emotions because they're not sure, right? And it also could be, be yourself over here as well, also repressing emotions, right? And if somebody doesn't, if you're waiting for them to come back and say they're sorry about the situation, right now I don't see that happening, because they're standoffish, they're in their head, they're too much worry, they're protecting themselves. You know, it's kind of crazy because it almost feels like they know they're controlling, but they don't know how to get out of not being controlling. They don't know how to switch that. They don't know how to get aligned with themselves to have that understanding that, you know what, we don't always have to be 100% in control. You need to sometimes allow someone else to take the reins. You know, when things, you know, it's like, okay, let's say that they, you know, they make a plan and that plan falls through. They're going to keep continuing to try to make that plan, but you have a plan, but they don't want to listen to that plan because it's almost like it has to be their way, right? It has to be their plan. And that's just the way it's, I feel like for them, that's the way it's just always been. Like they've always been the one that had to stand up, right? And take the lead. So it could definitely be a learned behavior that, but you know, when you get in a relationship, we have to learn to let go of those kind of learned behaviors so that we can allow ourselves to be, you know, become one with the cups, right? Yeah. So right now, the overall is the inaction because they're too much in their head with the anxiety. Okay, so there's just too much indecisiveness to actually get to what they want their dream to come true, which is crazy because they're saying they want the dream to come true. They want the Nine of Cups, but they can't get to the Nine of Cups when they're so overwhelmed. So they're not going to plant any new seeds. But see, they would have to actually understand, you know, what to work with and how to work with things, and then how to, you know, put that out there to actually want to open up with you. But they would have to let some of that rain go. They're just not going to do that. They don't know how. But it's crazy because it's like they need guidance to do so and healing to do so. And they could literally learn to do so. It just would have to take new steps and a new way of looking at things with a new perspective. But it's saying they're just not going to do that. There's too much friction. So they'd rather flee from the situation, hide out from the situation, than come to you and actually fix the situation. Wow. So all the strength that they possess in so many wonderful ways, they're allowing to they're allowing the weaknesses to take over the decision making instead of just coming out and actually admitting, you know what, I'm wrong, let's fix it this way. They won't do that. It could be an ego issue, feeling like they're going to lose a piece of themselves if they come to try to reconcile with you or allow you to take over the plans or any of the whatever is going on here. It's going to be different for everybody, but there's definitely um, this not wanting to do so, and I do feel it's more of an ego thing because I think that they're used to being in control and they're used to maybe even having all the answers, and now they don't have the answers and they can't seem to do anything, but they're head on, dead on set that they're not going to listen to any ideas that you have for ego reasons. It has to be ego. But yet they say you're the idealistic lover. They want to keep this going, but yet they don't want 50-50. That's very interesting. Okay. Get a couple of love cards over here. You know, unless they wake up, they're not going to really see it, right? They would have to like literally have like a great awakening to the situation. Maybe even have another, you know, let's get a real dream going on, right? You know, saying, hey, wake up. Let me shake you a little bit, let you know how this is going over here. It's Spirit says they need to go ahead and express their love. They really need to express their love, and have those heart-to-heart conversations. There it is, and have the heart-to-heart conversation. You know, could even have their friends help you. And if it's, you know, and if you're having a hard time also coming back, and but you know you want to do it as well, maybe you want your friends to step in, you know, to say something. This is definitely a karmic soulmate for sure. But there's definitely some factors going on over here. It says religious factors, but I really believe it's like conventional factors. Um, because the religious factors for me card is kind of the Hierophant card in its own way. So I'm going to say that it's more of like a conventional way of their upbringing where they feel, whether they're male or female, that they need to be in that control. And it does feel like it's something that they're used to doing, some kind of learned behavior, maybe when they were younger, right? They had to watch out for themselves. Maybe, the upbringing that they had, it made them always have to take more control over situations. It does feel like that, a very independent type of person. And sometimes when we become too independent, um, we actually become too disconnected from other people's feelings and other people's, you know what I'm saying? So it becomes more of this almost selfish behavior. And we do have the Empress in reverse and the High Priestess, which is selfish behavior. So you could actually see it as, and in a ways, it is kind of selfish because they're not allowing you to enter into the relationship with your own ideas, your own stuff, and work with you. And that's, like I said, a part of ego. So I definitely feeling like, yeah, that's not going to, and yeah, it's definitely has some trust issues as well. They're not trusting in themselves enough, to actually fix it. But there it is, let go of control issues. Look at that. Look at that. And that's exactly what it is. Letting go of those control issues and understanding that it is safe to love. And it's not just safe to love, it's safe to allow another person to have, to dance that dance, with them. They don't have to be always right. They don't have to always be this. They don't have to, but, it seems like kind of in their head, that's where they're kind of leading over here, that they have to be this kind of, the reason they have that fatherly figure is because it's that masculine coming out. I don't care if it's man or woman, it doesn't matter. They have that masculine going on. But I do feel it's because they've always been in this place where they feel they had to be in control or things would not happen for them, right? But the point is that if you allow that to overtake everything, it becomes your failure, and it becomes your weakness. So where you feel like this could be, where they could feel like this is my strength, this is my power. Well, when you don't do what you're supposed to be doing with another person to keep something alive and keep love alive, it becomes your hiding out and doing these things becomes more of a, of your weakness than your strong points. It's when you're, that's one they always say, your strong points become your weak points, right? Because it kind of folds inside of itself, collapses, right? Collapses inside of itself. And that's really what's pretty much going on here. Okay, so hopefully in the near future, they will wake up and have that understanding that they don't always have to be the winner, or, they don't always have to be the person who's in control or right about everything. Yeah. See what the overall outcome of the situation is. The over. We already did the overall. Let's just take a little peeky poo. Let's look at a peeky poo of the near future. Peeky poo for the majority thereof. Now remember, this is a general reading, so it doesn't mean, it gave me two cards, so it does have two different kinds of outcomes. Okay. It says that this will be justified and that truth will set them free and that they will end up balancing the situation. Okay, once they kind of get themselves back into a place. First, they got to get out of their mind. Um, and then with the Knight of Wands, so that's one. And with the Knight of Wands, it says, yes, it's kind of the same though. They're going to justify this. They will move fearlessly after they get out of this energy to become more inspiring, to want to take more action. But the only thing I don't like about the action is that they're still juggling wanting to be in control. So they're gonna they want to like negotiate and balance it with you. So there's, no matter what, both outcomes have a balance. But it's still kind of like, but they still want to feel like, okay, well, we'll make negotiations, not really wanting to support the situation. If the Queen of Pentacles was right side up, then that would mean that they would want to nurture the situation and be supportive towards your ideas or whatever's going on, right? But they're not. So it's still saying that I'm still self-centered. So I'm going to come back with you. We're going to work it together. But I have plan A and B. And you're like, oh, I have plan A too. And they're like, no one cares about your plan A. I have a B. So instead of using your A, he comes up or she comes up with a B instead, which is replacing your A. So no matter what, it's kind of like that saying, you can't teach all, old dogs new tricks. But of course, we found out literally that's not true. That's a mindset. You can rewire your mind to new things, but this person will not. So, and I do see that, but they definitely need to, back down, right? Okay, guys. Until next time, peace and love. Bye bye.